Hi there, ready for today's activity? Today's activity is great for a whole heap of things. Lots of a wide range of motor skills, visual motor, but also gross motor skills, also working with numbers, and there's lots of fun, and it also develops social skills. And when you do it, you will see why. Now, I've been standing in this position so that I don't give it away, but here it is. Today's activity is the old-fashioned hopscotch. Now, there's a number of ways that you can set it up. Definitely always get your kids to be involved in the setup, right? So depending on the age of your kids, you can either show them the map of how it's supposed to look. So if they're older, just show it to them on a piece of paper or online and get them to hold that image in their memory and then draw it up, like I am doing with my young child over there, Ed. If you've got younger kids, you can have this sitting by. So you can get them to copy it off the internet onto a piece of paper and then copy it from a piece of paper onto the pavement. And the great thing is that drawing with chalk is really useful in developing gross motor skills. So doing big numbers, doing big shapes is something that's an important precursor to developing the skills needed for the fine motor control of our hand that our kids later need in writing. Also, writing the numbers on pavement with chalk, because they can feel the vibration through their body, again, puts the shape of the number into their body memory. So when they then go to write it on paper, they're less likely to mix up their 9s and 6s. Okay, because not only have they seen it in the sequence on here, okay, so when they then picture a 6, they know that it's over here and it felt like this to write it. When they get to write the 9, they can imagine it in that position on the hopscotch, so they can actually see themselves in that position. They can see that it's just before the 10, and they can remember with their body that this is how they drew it. Again, that vibration. Now, if your kids are even younger, what you can do is draw it up yourself and get them to trace over what you've drawn. Okay, so no matter what age your kids are, even at this age, it's lots of fun. So that's the setup of the activity. Now, the rules. The rules are that you need something to throw into each number. Okay, so you start off over at the very front. See the little human over here? Stick. And you can have a stick or a little stone. And I'm going to talk you through it as Ed goes through and does it. And darling Ed, you can put down your chalk now. You don't need to hold on to it while you're jumping. Now you can see that we've colour-coded the numbers. So what we do is you throw the stick or the puck or whatever it is into number 1, okay, and then you have to jump over. So you're not allowed to step on the square that's got the stick or the stone in it. So you've got to jump over it, jump on number 2 on 1 foot, then number 3 and 4 is a double foot, then 5 and 6 in pink, you're jumping on 1 foot again, 7, 8, you're jumping on both feet, 9, and then 10 way up here. On 10, you're on 1 foot and you need to turn around while on 1 foot. Now, you're also not allowed to step on the line. So basically, if you step on the line, you're out and it's the next person's turn. And if you throw the stick and it doesn't land in the square, if it lands on the line or outside the square, you're out and it's the next person's turn. Now, if you go through the whole thing and the stick or the stone goes into the square and you don't step on the lines, then you've completed that number. You hand it over to the next person, but next time it's your turn, you throw the stick into the next number. Okay, so here we're going into the memory part of the skills. So it means that each time we go through, our kids have to remember which number was the last one that they completed and whether they were out and they need to repeat that number, or whether they stayed in all the way through and they get to go on to the next number.
Cool.
Anything else that we need to know about hopscotch?
There's a whole bunch of variations on the game. So if you just look up hopscotch on the internet, there's a whole bunch of ways you can play it. You can also use it for math skills.
Maybe what we'll do is we'll draw up a grid. We'll show you a different version of it in just a moment. We're just going to draw up a bit of a grid and show you how you can use hopscotch, or a version of hopscotch, to do addition, subtraction, maybe even multiplication. We'll see. All right, take care, and we'll see you in the second half of this video. Okay. Oh, that would have been good to know. You've got to do like 3, 2, 1, click. All right, so the other way, well, hello birdie, to do hopscotch. This is a little bit more mathematical, so a little bit more involved, but if you've got older kids, this is great for visualizing numbers. So what I've done is drawn a grid of 5 by 5, 1 to 25. And there's a number of ways that you can do this, but the big thing to point out is the patterns here, right? So if you're going this way, every number is 5 more than the number before it. Now, if you're going diagonally towards the left, towards the bigger numbers, each number, 1, 7, 13, 19, 25, is 6 more than the number before. And if you're going the other way, we're adding 4. Okay, so one way that you can play this, and I'm just going to give you one example. Know that you can use this for all sorts of mathematical things. And because your kids are visualizing it and they're moving, they're going to be able to remember the concepts a lot better. So let's say we have a challenge like this. We start off on number 1. Okay, you can start off on whichever number you like, or you can take turns. You can tell someone to give you a number. But I'm going to start off on number 1, and I've got my trusty stick, and I'm going to throw it into another number. And it's got to land on a number. Maybe you can make that into a game. If it doesn't land exactly in a number, then you're out and somebody else has a turn. All right, I'm just going to place it there. Otherwise, we could be here for a while. A rock would be better, but I felt that it was a little bit too small, so you wouldn't be able to see it. So we've got to stick in number 12. Now, what you can do is set a challenge of what's the quickest way to get to number 12. So there's the wussy way, the lame way, right? Where you go 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3, 4, 5, and then you have to get all the way across back to number 6. So it's going to take you 11 steps if you're just going 1 by 1. Now there is a quicker way. So you can go 1 plus 5. Remember, if we're going in a straight line, we're adding 5. And then if we're going over here, we're adding 6. Okay, so the shortest way can be that. Can be 1 plus 5 plus 6. Or is there another way? The challenge can be how many different ways can you get from 1 to 12. So another way can be 1 plus 6. Remember, going diagonally to the left is plus 6, and then going straight is plus 5. We're getting to 12. And you could even take it further and go, okay, so 1 plus 6 plus 5 means 1 plus 11 is 12. And then you can start off on a different number. You can set your kids a challenge and go, okay, we're going to start off on number 12. This time we're going to go backwards. And we want to end up on number 9, right? So what's one way you can end up on number 9 from number 12? How many numbers do you have to go backwards? You can do multiplication, so 5 times tables. You can make it a 4 by 4 grid, so then you've got 4 times tables. 1 times 4, etc., etc. You can make it a 3 by 3 if your kids are younger. Just make a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 grid. Now, so all sorts of ways that you can use the idea of hopscotch to start working with numbers. And if you have kids that are struggling with their numbers a little bit, maybe don't do this over the holidays because they might resist it a little bit. But once it's back at school and it's the choice between doing their homework at the desk and bringing their sheet outside and working it out here. Okay, so say if they've got a problem of what's 7 plus whatever it is, 16, what's it going to be? Plus 5, plus 5, plus 5, so that's 15, plus 1, plus 16, 23. Okay, and they've involved their body, they're moving, and then they can just go off to the side, write their answer on their worksheet and do it again. And I bet, even though it seems like it's going to take longer, it's going to be quicker and they're going to be a lot less resistant to it than they would be if they were sitting at a desk trying to work it out like this. So have fun with it, hopscotch and the other version of hopscotch. See you in the next video.